What I know about Ghana is the challenge is mindset. So people think, a lot of people in Ghana think someone outside of them is going to solve the problem. And I know that they have to know that it's within them to solve the problem. So that's my goal. So leadership development, organizational effectiveness, that's what my company does on our Watch Global. So the goal is to mobilize high-minded people. High-minded people means people who are solution-oriented, who know they have the power to solve problems. Mobilize high-minded people with the abundant resources we have, because we know Africa has abundant resources, to solve problems in communities sustainably. So that's the goal. So the way I do that with the youth is to speak to them. So I'll be going into schools next week, talking to the youth, talking about their goals, their dreams, and how to accomplish them. Because I don't want them growing up like their parents grew up, thinking that somebody outside of them is going to solve their problem. My name is Nana Etuahine, and I was born in the States to two parents from Kumasi.
Wow.
So they left Ghana during Nkrumah's time, because my father was given a scholarship because Nkrumah was sending a lot of students abroad so they could bring their skills and resources and knowledge back from abroad to Ghana to help build Ghana. So my father was part of that. My mother went to Wesley Girls. So that's my lineage. But I was never exposed to Ghana. My parents didn't intend for me to come back.
So
ever.
Was it your first time coming to Ghana?
No, I started coming at 19. So what I did was I found an exchange program at University of Ghana.
Wow.
So I decided to take that opportunity to get to know Ghana, because that was my first time going to Ghana. So I actually studied at Legon for the summer and learned a lot about Ghana. And then while I was at that program, I visited my auntie, my cousins, and all of them for the first time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I can see you are doing well in Ghana and you are improving in a whole lot of aspects in Ghana. So tell me, changing an environment, coming to Ghana, how does it feel?
I had to humble myself, because I did have an uncle who was born here and raised here, left and came back, and within 9 months, he had to go back. You know, he had a lot of money, but you know, if you don't know Ghana, people will take your money. So I learned from him. So all I did the first few times I came, and my story is, the reason why I started coming was because there was this trend. Everyone was talking about the Chinese takeover of Africa. So one day I was speaking to a friend of mine who's Nigerian like me. She grew up in the States, but her parents are Nigerian. And we were talking about all the opportunities back home. And so then I had a thought. I said, shame on me. Chinese are going to Africa, to Ghana, and my family's there, and I'm not going back regularly. So at that moment, I committed to coming to Ghana at least 3 months out of the year, every year. So that's how I started. And then I took my time, networked. I started going to, what I would do before I would come to Ghana, I would go on Eventbrite, go on meetup.com, figure out all the different events happening, plan them, and then go to all of them to network, get to know people, get to know how things work. Then I would sit down with them afterwards, one-on-one, the people who I thought, you know, I could really build with. And that's when I would actually get to know how things worked in Ghana. So
wow,
that was my way. That was the way I started getting to it. Because one thing I tell people, humble yourself. Don't think just because you have dollars, euros, pounds, that you can just come and do anything. People think it's only money that you need, but no, you need to learn the landscape. So I tell people, come here and be humble. Don't think you know everything. Because if you think you know everything, Ghanaians will show you don't know anything and send you home broke. So don't think you're smarter than them.
Wow.
Because you'll be outsmarted.
this is just a critical thinking, you know. But you know, you made mention of coming back home and so forth. You know, there are a whole lot of youth in Ghana that are also willing to establish themselves and so forth. But here's the case: you have the means to establish something in Ghana for the youth. So do you intend to establish, in case like you want to establish a business for the youth to also get something doing for themselves?
So my goal, what I know about Ghana is the challenge is mindset. So people think, a lot of people in Ghana think someone outside of them is going to solve the problem. And I know that they have to know that it's within them to solve the problem. So that's my goal. So leadership development, organizational effectiveness, that's what my company does on our Watch Global. So the goal is to mobilize high-minded people. High-minded people means people who are solution-oriented, who know they have the power to solve problems. Mobilize high-minded people with the abundant resources we have, because we know Africa has abundant resources to solve problems in communities sustainably. So that's the goal. So the way I do that with the youth is to speak to them. So I'll be going into schools next week, talking to the youth, talking about their goals, their dreams, and how to accomplish them. Because I don't want them growing up like their parents grew up, thinking that somebody outside of them is going to solve their problems.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm out to teach, that they have the power to decide their destiny, to change Africa in general. So I want them to know and empower them to know that they have what it takes to change the narrative of Ghana, of Africa, for the better.
You made mention of changing the mindset of the youth and also Ghanaian people as well, and also African as well. So in such case, it wouldn't be anything so simple for you to do. It will take a whole lot of time. Have you also made up your mind to dedicate yourself to do such a thing?
Yes, person by person. Matter of fact, the people who just braided my hair, I had a whole session with them. They said I've changed their lives, because every person I bump into, I leave them better than I came to them. So I'm always sharing everything I know in the time that I have with the people I meet. And so, like I said, the people who just braided my hair before I came here, I shared everything that I could in the time they were braiding my hair, and they said I've transformed their lives. So I know it's person by person, and all I ask every person to do is pay it forward. So if I've taught you, you teach other Ghanaians what you've learned from me, and it'll just snowball. You know, as people keep sharing with that next person, they can ask that person too. Please share this with somebody that that doesn't know what you know.
Wow. So talking about you saying Chinese invading Ghana and also Africa as well, in your opinion, how would you like to stop all this kind of attitude of this some bad Chinese?
Some bad Chinese. I don't, you know me, I don't think any Chinese are bad. What I think is that if Chinese are coming to Africa, Africans all over the diaspora need to come back. That's how I think. I don't vilify Chinese. Chinese are doing what Chinese need to do to build. So we need to do what we need to do to build. So they actually inspired me. I don't have anything against any Chinese. They inspired me to come back, because I said, listen, they're not going to come back and I'm just sitting abroad. I'm going back too, because I have more stake in Ghana than a Chinese person does.
Wow. You've learned so many culture in America and also in Ghana as well. So how do you intend to blend those two cultures together to make things right in Ghana?
You know, I don't plan to make things right in Ghana. All I plan to do is to share my resources and my knowledge to people who are open. So the way, with all the cultures I've learned, which is a blessing, and I travel a lot, I travel the world. So what I do is I take the best of all those cultures that I've learned, and it's mostly in dealing with people. So that's what I brought to the table, is how do you deal with people? How do you communicate with people so that they understand what you're saying? How do you communicate with people in a respectful way without thinking that you know much more than they do? And how do you learn from them too? Because it's not only me teaching Ghanaians. Ghanaians are teaching me too, because I'm learning about how people are conditioned when they're growing up. I'm learning about cultural norms. I'm learning about cultural beliefs, because I only learned a little bit from my parents. And my parents only come from one ethnic group. So I learned from all ethnic groups. I learned from all educational backgrounds, you know, all religious backgrounds. So not only am I here to share, but I'm here to learn as well. So
wow,
it's very important.
Wow. So you being a diaspora or maybe a Ghanaian, how do you also intend to improve the Ghanaian aspects of life? And also, people have been saying negative things about Africa out there in the US media, some. I'm not trying to generalize it, some are saying negative things about Africa and so forth. So you being a Ghanaian coming to Ghana, going back to the States and so forth, how would you change those negative mindset that they normally paint to people out there in the States?
I'm basically an ambassador because, my family, only my oldest sister really comes back. So because I've been sharing my experiences in Ghana, my younger family members are coming back. All my friends in California, all over the nation, when they hear I'm going to Ghana, they want to come. Because now it's kind of like they have a plug, Now they have somebody that they know goes all the time, lives there part of the year. So that's all they need. They don't need me saying anything good or bad about Ghana. They just need me to bring them to Ghana so they can see for themselves.
Wow. So let's get to business aspect of your life. What kind of, you made mention of establishing a business and so forth. Do you intend to do so well, or maybe more to people in Ghana for them to get employed in your section, or maybe in your businesses that you've already established in Ghana?
So one of the things I learned recently is that there are leaders who just have followers, and then there are leaders who build other leaders. So my mission is to build other leaders with everything I do, whether I'm in real estate. So I'm in real estate in California, I'm in real estate in Ghana. I also have my organization on our Watch Global for organizational effectiveness and also for leadership development. So my mission is to build leaders. And so that's really, for me, the solution is to build other leaders.
You made mention of leaders in you being a leader. We also have leaders in Ghana. Some having negative thoughts, some having positive thoughts. Some African leaders too, they only think of their stomach, their selfish interest and so forth. So you are in Ghana. We are trying to bridge the gap between African Americans and Africans together to make Africa our liking. So in such case, how would you change those negative mindsets of these selfish leaders?
First, this is why I said Ghana has a mindset that I know has opportunity, because I believe every person's a leader. And I think that's the issue in Ghana is everyone's sitting as if they're not a leader, and they're putting everything into the hands of what they call leaders. But each and every one of us is a leader. So as we acknowledge our leader inside of us, then things shift. Otherwise, you're just going to be looking for someone else to solve your problem, and they don't have the ability and the capacity to solve your problem.
Wow. I guess you were in a hurry. Maybe I really like this show, but I'll leave you because you need to also do certain things. But what would you like to tell people out there that are watching you?
I just like to tell you to come and experience this. I don't care where you are in the world. Just come and experience Ghana. Come and experience Africa, so you have your own narrative, because other people's narrative only goes so far. When you come on your own, you can develop your own narrative and go from there. And be an asset everywhere you go, not just in Africa, but everywhere you go.
Wow. So as my sister said it, you need to pack your bags, come to Ghana, come to Africa. Let's build a country together. Let's build our continent together. Do not listen to negative stuff, what people normally says. Don't listen to it. We are here to help you, and she's also part of it. We are bridging the gaps between each and every one to help people in Africa and also to develop Africa. So as you're watching, you keep subscribed to our channel. And also, maybe you have a YouTube channel that you want to put out there.
Not yet. It's coming. Don't worry. But you can get me on our Watch Global on Instagram.
Wow. Let me take this opportunity to announce this. My girlfriend is also into tourism. So maybe if you are interested in touring in Ghana and so forth, or maybe in Africa, or maybe all over the world, I will just put her tour description under my video, and then you also join your tour and then experience Ghana and also experience Africa. Bye bye.